With O2 Performance and Recovery, just following up on the breathing, nasal breathing video, why change your breathing. So let's get into some of the things that we do and why converting over is important to nasal breathing and what kind of impact does it have, right? I mean, that's the key. If it's not impactful, then why do it? So, I hear all the time, for example, here at O2 Performance and Recovery, we use the word nasal and nose a lot during the day because we're always reminding people, come on, let's breathe through the nose, back to the nose, make the nose the default breathing, go to the mouth if you need to, back to the nose. We're constantly preaching that here. Because if we do it enough here under stress, when we're doing IHHT, when we work with our especially athletes or people who want to do that, our sessions are a little different than with the older folks and the people who are dealing with chronic disease. When we're dealing with athletes who are really focused on performance, recovery, and things like that, we're putting them under a stressful environment and forcing them to breathe the right way, okay? After you do that for a while, let's just say after a month or several sessions of doing that, well, it starts to kick in, that muscle memory. So when you're out there performing or practicing or playing, all of a sudden you start breathing the way that you're supposed to breathe and the way that we practice here. And I hear that all the time where people come and go, man, I did it. I was practicing today, or I was competing, or I was in a game. And I didn't even think about it. It just started kicking and I started breathing the right way, right? So why are we doing that? Well, we always hear things like, wow, you know what? Now, when I'm breathing the right way throughout the game or practice, when I get to the end or in the fourth quarter or the end of the match, the race, whatever, I just have more. I can go further. I can go harder. Because if you breathe the right way, all during that competition, you're getting a little bit better efficiency at the beginning, at the middle, and all of a sudden you get to the end and that starts to add up and it leaves more in your tank, right? You've got more, you're recovering faster, you're getting better oxygen delivery throughout the competition. So when you get to the end, if your person on the other side you're competing against is not doing the same thing, then you're just gonna have an edge, right? And so I hear this quite a bit with people. Wow, used to, when I did my workout with my group or my class, we would all just be wiped out. And they're wondering why I'm not wiped out like they're wiped out, like I used to be wiped out. And it's because they're changing the breathing. They're doing the nasal breathing, getting better delivery. And of course, when you're doing IHHT at the same time, and you're creating more red blood cells, and you're getting that little edge and better oxygen delivery and availability to the tissues, it's just gonna make a difference in not just recovery, but it's gonna give you a performance edge. So that breathing is really key, but you have to practice it. It's not something that just happens, right? So the first couple of sessions, we let you breathe however you wanna breathe, and just remind you to breathe through the nose when you can. By the time we get session 3 or 4, now we're getting strict on it, okay? Nasal only, go to the mouth only when you have to. And at some point, you do have to ventilate through the mouth. I mean, you can't have a 100-meter sprinter, 200-meter sprinter, they're not going to run a whole sprint breathing through their nose. They can do a lot of it through the nose. You can do a 40 or 50-yard or meter sprint through the nose, but once you get past that, 85% of your capacity, once you get past that 85%, you're going to have to ventilate through the mouth, right? That's just part of it. So, but it's always going back to the nose whenever you get past that, or you're recovering, or if you're in a competition where you're not going that hard in between breaks. Always nose, 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 mouth when you have to, back to the nose, mouth when you have to, back to the nose. So all those things are really important. The details matter. And the breathing revolution in sports is not here yet. It is in some places around the world, but it's coming. And it's coming this way. And I start seeing different guys, even some of the pros I work with, college, very few of them were even aware of it. And they're not taught it by their guys or their teams or performance directors. But it's starting to seep in and come this way. And I think that's going to be a revolution that we're really going to see as performance starts to get better, whether it's running, track, hockey, football, baseball, basketball, cycling, taekwondo, all these different sports. It makes a real big impact when you learn how to breathe the right way. Again, David, O2 Performance and Recovery. Thanks for watching.